Good evening and hello world. This is the breakdown on the United Hour, where we break down all the activities that took place in the game earlier today. Manchester United winning, hammering the Hammers 1-0. A late goal by Rashford. But we had to break down all the pre-game and all the stuff that went on in the game and give our assessment of the performance of the players. So that is what we're doing here today. I am President Chad, and inside of his house with me, we have Greg B. Well, we have a diverse group in terms of location. So let me call out where everybody is at. I am in Trinidad and Tobago. Greg B is in Trinidad and Tobago. The man Devin, the Bayesian out there in Miami. And then we have Kevin in Barbados. And we have the big man in the business, Phil, the Bayesian up there in Canada, trying to stay warm. You have a nice fireside in your apartment there, Phil.
On the TV, yeah. That'd be fair
Nice,
channel, bro.
nice. So, gentlemen, I want to start off. We always like to start off the breakdown talking about the lineups, right? So we had one change from the last 11 that we played, and that was Victor Lindelof. For those who don't know, Victor Lindelof's house was broken into, and his wife and his child was at home. He wasn't at home, and he asked for some time off because he didn't want to leave them at home. That is a very traumatic thing to have people, dangerous people breaking into your home and your family there. So he asked for some time off, and Ralph gave him time off. You would have also noticed, I don't think Sancho was on the bench, and that is because Sancho had a death of somebody very close to him, and he went to the funeral earlier in the week, didn't really train this week, and he asked for some time off. So that is why Sancho was not on the bench and wasn't involved in the game at all as well. So, in for Lindelof was the man Harry Maguire, wearing the captain armband today. And anyway, we're going to talk about Harry a little bit later. So that was the only change, right? The same starting lineup. You had Ronaldo, Elanga, and Greenwood, and the three on top. In the midfield, you had Fred, McTominay, and Bruno. And then you had Telles, Maguire, Varane, and Dillo. And of course, the man anchoring the back, anchoring the team this season is the man De Gea. So my question to you all to start off the program is this. Do you think that Ralph has found his starting 11? I want to head down to United Cave, the man Kevin, up there in Barbados. Talk to us, Kevin. But do you think that this 11, now that we've seen it, and now that we've seen the formation change to the 4-3-3, right, with that inverted triangle with Scott at the bottom, do you think that this is Ralph's best 11 at this moment in time?
I don't think it's his best 11. I think he's still trying to figure it out. He's still dibbling and dabbling, learning from the previous game. I think one highlight of that was the changes from, was it Aston Villa? Who we played against before this game?
Brentford,
right. The changes from Aston Villa to Brentford, when he didn't make the changes that he wanted to as soon as possible, and we ended up dropping 2 points. So I think he's still in that phase
in that game, Scott McTominay was unavailable because he was on a suspension.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of like formation change. I remember he said after the post-match press conference, he said he wanted to switch to three at the back. And damn, these dogs. He wanted to switch to three at the back. So I think Ralph is still trying to figure out who. I think he has a great idea though of who he can rely on. Because when you look at, you could tell that the guys are buying into his ideas, defending as a unit. That I think that's one of the most apparent changes under Ralph.
So you're starting to see Ralph's system coming into play. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, not the getting impression that everyone was so hyped up about, but starting to actually see the guys as a unit, play as a unit. And I think that was definitely one of the things that I wanted to see the guys defend as a unit and then go forward because we're gonna always have the attack to cause damage to teams, to overwhelm teams with our attack. But something that was missing under Oli especially was we weren't organized without the ball. Without the ball now, we're seeing more of that. We're able to quell a lot of the team's attacks, a lot of the team play. West Ham only had like one shot on target today, zero in the first half. Um, and you're starting to see more of this now. Like we're actually getting some sense of control. So I think he has a great idea of who he can rely on. I think as Rashford, Martial, surprisingly, I think as Martial gets sharper, um, we will probably see less of Elanga and Greenwood starting and maybe playing bit part roles like rotations or even coming off the bench. Or you never know, they may start some because of their energy. And I think there's going to be a lot of rotation between the two wing positions, especially.
All right. Good afternoon to Marvin Springer and the man Carlton. I believe Carlton is out there in the United States. So good afternoon to you. Big Phil, I want to come to you. Kevin's saying that Elanga and Greenwood, as far as long term, he sees them probably falling out of the 11. Do you think this is Ralph's best starting 11?
No, I think this is the 11 that Ralph has that's best at his disposal, in my opinion. Right? Let me see. As Caveman said, if Martial starts to pick up sharpness and Rashford starts to find his form again, um, I'll say maybe Elanga may have to go back to the bench. Mason Greenwood definitely, in my opinion, should be starting every single game. You're only what 19, 20 years old, and you're putting in a great shift. We still have the likes of Paul Pogba to still come back as well.
Well,
So
I could see Paul Pogba taking up Fred Roland. I could see easily right now in that midfield three, playing 4-3-3 with that triangle. I
yeah,
could see Scott and Fred and Pogba and Bruno. That
I
is
think I think
that
I think
is you
yeah,
know.
that kind of would be our best midfield three because Scott and Pogba, in my opinion, are more physical and more aggressive than Fred. I've seen Fred got knocked off the ball a bit too easily this season, right?
Yeah, but they don't win back the ball like Fred though.
True,
Fred
true,
is a
true, true,
terrier.
true. Yeah, definitely true. But
Chihuahua, man, ankle biter.
and yeah, you saw it today with Fred because Fred played decent today. Fred definitely won back the ball a couple of times, but what I also like about Fred is he's not like a typical Premier League player, and I say that with watching the Premier League for about 20 years, where I get the ball under pressure and I must kick it away immediately. Right? He looks up and looks for at least two passes. Right? So
So
let's see how this goes when
let me
Pogba is back in the
let me
squad.
let me ask you a quick. I just want to make clear what it is you say. In your starting 11, you in terms of what you perceive United's best starting 11, you expect to see Rashford and Pogba added to the side. So therefore, two people that would have started it, they needed to fall out. Yeah.
And I would also swap the positions of Pogba and Bruno. I put Pogba in the 10 and Bruno in the 8.
No, I remember we playing with 2 8s. You talking about a
But
4-2-3-1. I talking
Hmm.
about a 4-3-3.
but you asked me, you asked Ralph. Now wait till I tell you what I would do.
Ralph playing 2 8s. you want to put Pogba anytime you want to change Ralph whole system. But anyway,
Exactly.
But
um,
Ralph actually said Bruno's best position is the number 8. Don't get it twisted.
Correct.
let me tell you something. Devin and I did a show for the match before what was it?
The Aston
Right.
Villa game.
Aston
Brentford,
Villa.
right?
Brentford.
No, it
Yes,
was
yes,
that.
Brentford.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
We did a pre-match show for the match against Brentford. And Devin would remember that I said in that program that I think Bruno needs to play deeper.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Ralph was watching the program. and he decided to take him out of the 10 and change the formation and put him in the 8, because I honestly believe that Bruno plays better when he's a little deeper. When he's coming in, when he's the late runner into the box and stuff, no problem. But you see, when he up
Not
there
the 10.
in the mix, it don't really, we don't get the best out of him. So,
Correct.
Greg B, what for you?
Mm.
Is this Ralph's, best 11 at the moment, or you as well would like to see other people in the mix?
I mean, he seems to be tinkering with what he has, and I think it's still kind of like adjusting to kind of give everybody an opportunity to say, "Hey, all right, show me what you can do with the position that I put you in." Um, with the likes of Martial, I guess people are still kind of on the fence because we're not even sure if he's going to be here by the end of the January window. So if he still decides to stick around and becomes useful, being more of the inverted forward to come in from the left side, then then he'll have some use for him in that sense because Elanga, Greenwood, Rashford can't play every game. So it's a matter of keeping yourself prepared in situations like that. But I think he still has to make a small couple of tweaks here and there. I think more or less it depends on who your opposition is really, because you can have a particular starting 11, but different teams will require different personnel, will require different systems. You kind of have to be smart about the way that you play them. But I think he's finding his best 11. And right now, the way things are looking defensively, most people will say, okay, Varane and Lindelof look like the best two as regards like ball progression, passing, and being and composure at times. But it still remains to be seen because Maguire did make a good case for himself today, in
Well, we're
spite
gonna
of
be
all the.
talking. We're gonna
Mhm,
be talking about Maguire in a little bit.
mhm. But yeah, but so far, I still think there's a couple of things that still need to be ironed out before we say this is his best 11.
Devin, I see you bobbing your head. You agree? You agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's the fact that this formation worked. Well, it worked today because we pretty much prevented them from having many attempts on target. But the big issue now is, don't forget, we're gonna have Sancho coming back, and I also think this emergence of
Mhm.
Elanga is gonna start bringing out the best in Sancho and Rashford because I'm a big believer in iron sharpens iron. And so when you're seeing Alanga with the form that he's in right now, with that pressing and showing how responsive the crowd is getting to it, the team is playing better, I think that's going to start bringing out the best in the other two players. And so it's at the time right now with the way he's playing, I would have him in my starting 11 for now because he's playing great. His energy, his work rate, when he's up there pressing the other team for the ball, I think that's something that our players feed off because they see the reactions from the crowd. And so I would have to have him in right now. And then it's also tough because I want to figure out a way to fit Cavani in there, but obviously we know he cannot play every match. So I would agree definitely with Greg B, where it depends on who you're playing and also rotating the sides, so that way we also don't burn out like we've done the last 2 seasons.
You know, I hear what you guys saying. I mean, I think with a talent like Paul Pogba coming back, you have to tell yourself you must find a place for him in the team. We know what an informed Rashford looks like. And again, you tell yourself you must find a place for him in the team. But right now, on present form, when I look at the work rate of Elanga right now, Elanga is tracking back. He is
Hmm.
running all over the field. He seems to have a battery that doesn't die. He doesn't, his running doesn't decrease in the second half. He is running. He's putting in the work. Greenwood is also putting in a lot of off the ball work. We're not really seeing the goals from Greenwood right now, but he's putting in the and Ralph has already said Greenwood is the player that he wants to build this team around going forward in the future, right? Because we understand that Ronaldo is here for a short period of time. And so when Big Phil says that he expects Greenwood always to start, I expect that too. Greenwood is one of the people first names on the team sheet for me because I believe Ralph looks at Greenwood as that figure, that playmaker, that goal scorer that could really lift the team and lift his game up to another level. But when I look at the work rate of Ilanga right now, I can't see Rashford and Sancho had to put in some work to get into the side. They can't just
Correct.
come back in this side right now. Ilanga work rate is ridiculous. ridiculous. This guy is running up and down. He's always energetic. He's taking on players.
He switched
Mm-hmm.
sides during parts of the game as well too, so it's like you didn't
Yeah,
stick to one particular position. Yeah,
And
and
this is exactly why I said my comment about iron sharpens iron.
well,
So
I
you're
was
seeing what it takes to get into it, and you're gonna have to step up to the level to take him out of the side.
but
And so
I
you
was
want to have
actually
those
not going to bring
competitions
back.
then.
I was not going to bring back up your comment because I think that is exactly what we see now with Maguire.
hmm
Now that
Mm-hmm.
we have a coach that captain or no captain, you're not playing good enough, you're going to rock bench. We saw Maguire come out there, and there are two things I noticed from Maguire today, and anybody afterwards could weigh in on if they noticed it as well. One, I saw Maguire trying to direct traffic. I saw Maguire trying to be a leader on the pitch today. Normally, you don't see Maguire directing people where to pass the ball and being as talkative. I saw a very animated Maguire today, and I saw a very disciplined Maguire today. He didn't go out there. He had no lapses in concentration today. Even when Antonio was running at him one on one, and we know Maguire is slow, and that is not the peak of his game, he was able to run with him. He was able to clear the ball. He was winning all the headers in the midfield, in the defense. It wasn't a ball in the air close to him that he missed whole game. And I am asking myself, I say, see what a little time on the benches do. A
Mm-hmm.
little competition. We saw it with Luke Shaw when Tellez came in, but so anybody else found that noticed those things with Maguire today? Him trying to be that on the pitch leader.
Yes, yes. He actually played like he plays for England today, and so I was actually very pleasantly surprised because I thought that Antonio was going to manhandle him the entire match, and he actually held his own and played very
yeah,
well and got a clean sheet out of it. So, kudos, definitely props to Maguire for today. Now the question is, can he keep this form up?
yeah,
That's the part that I want to see because
yeah.
he actually looked like a proper captain today. And
Yeah,
so yes, it's great to see that today. I want to see it consistently now, not just a one-off thing, and then
that's it.
slowly get
That's it.
complacent. That
That.
is, and that goes for the entire side as well too,
hmm Yeah,
which is
because I
why
mean, this is not.
yeah, I was
Sorry,
gonna say
sorry.
this is why I like this idea now. We're having these players come in off the bench, spending time on the bench, because you're showing, hey, if you're not doing your thing, this ain't like before with those favoritism. If you're not playing well, you're getting out of the side, and we'll bring somebody in who will step up and take your spot. So when you get your chance, you better get out there and own it.
Go ahead, Greg B.
Yeah, and I mean, personally, I prefer that because at the end of the day, you let people know, okay, there's certain levels that have to be maintained if you're going to be a part of this team. There's certain expectations that you have of yourself and your teammates have of you. Harry Maguire having the captain's arm, man, your levels have dropped. You're not going to see the pitch for at least not for the full 90 minutes. He started today, and I saw a bit more composure. I saw someone who knew what he wanted to do at times. I mean, outside of the one challenge from Jared Bowen, which I think wasn't that bad of a challenge, but at the same time, most times, like he said, Antonio didn't really do much. Fornals was not as effective as he would be in some instances. So he really made a case for himself to say, hey, okay, this may be just a bad phase that I'm going through. So it's something that it needs to build on, but at the same time, like Devin said, don't let this be a one-off thing. Don't tell yourself, okay, you can ride the wave of this performance against West Ham and then go back to making the same silly mistakes that you were making earlier before this season. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to get the spot throughout the remainder of this season. Play at this level at all times and as consistently as possible.
Big Phil, that article in the news about Harry Maguire being on a short list with Luke Shaw and Wan Bissaka in terms of not being good enough players that need to be replaced in the summer. You think that influenced Harry's performance today?
Well, it played some part, right? Harry Maguire today was immense. He hardly put a foot wrong, and yeah, this is coming from me because all through the season I've been telling people Harry Maguire has at least 2 or 3 mistakes in him per game. Not every 3 or 4 games. He has at least 2 or 3 mistakes in him per game, right? So the Harry Maguire that I saw today was totally somebody else, right? And it's funny because I saw a tweet from the official United website yesterday saying, let's try and make it two wins in a row, and it's kind of still how fallen we have, how far we've fallen as a club, right? Because we're tweeting, let's go for 2 wins in a row. What is a club like Manchester United stature tweeting that for, right? But at the end of the day, back to Harry Maguire. Not even back to Harry Maguire, back to the entire defense. This is the best I've seen our defense being in the last probably 8 to 10 games that Ralph has taken over, right? This defense was actually organized. If I had to nitpick, you kind of predicted what Tellez would do with the ball when we were on a counter attack. Take the ball, look up, and cross. It's not like he can take on anybody else, right? And then also another nitpick, when the ball is coming to Harry Maguire, right, over the top, and there's no pressure on him, he finds that he must head out the ball, right? I found I've been watching defenders over the last 20 plus years. Your Gerard Piqué, your Ferdinands, your Puyols, your Maldinis. The ball could be coming over the top, and then there could be no pressure. You know where that ball is going? On the chest, controlling first. And that's what Ralph is about, control. Whenever the ball is coming over the top, when it's indirect, Harry Maguire thinks he must head the football out first. There could be no pressure on him because Mikel Antonio was doing nothing today, looking like a Jamaican exhibit. Did nothing today, right? But at the end of the day, Harry Maguire thought he
We
was
apologize for any Jamaicans listening on this stream.
A Jamaican exhibit is not a bad thing, though.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but what you're saying there is true, because I was watching that as well. I mean, there was a time the ball came down to Fred, and he was in less space than Harry Maguire, and Fred brought down the ball with his chest. And I was like, why Harry Maguire insists on heading the ball every single time? Now, don't get me wrong. You know, my thing is giving up possession in dangerous positions. He wasn't in the box heading the ball to the top of the box with danger running on, right? Most of the time, he was in that middle sphere heading the ball across the halfway line, and some of the headers was misplaced. But I could give that away because you're not putting the team under immediate pressure.
That's it.
But it was still unnecessary. You have space, bring down the ball. You know what I mean? Use your chest.
I think in itself, Chad, if I interject, I think in itself he's still probably trying to find ways where he can really trust himself entirely. Maybe in the last few times where he's held on to possession before,
that was a sign of a lack of confidence.
Yeah, when he's held on to possession
for the
before,
whole game.
Yeah. When he's held on to possession before in previous games, you know, people have tended to kind of target him. So he's kind of just been like, all right, you know what? Let me get it out of here as fast as possible, so I don't necessarily look like I'm going to be the problem here. So he's probably like, it's still a bit of a confidence issue with him in its entirety. So it's all right. The faster I can give it off and give it to possession so that we can progress, it saves me from looking like, all right, I'm holding it too long, and people get worried about what I'm going to do next. So in his mind, prevention better than cure.
Yeah, I hear that. So Kev.
Yeah. What do you think about Maguire?
No. We moving on from Maguire. I ready to move
that
on
facial expression tells me alone what he thinks about Maguire.
Go ahead.
It's not too bad. I think he had a above average game than what he's been having all season. Way above average than what he's been having all season. But like the lack of concentration, like y'all pointed out just now. I don't know if it's a confidence in himself or confidence in his teammates. As a captain, you don't want a captain not having confidence in you as a teammate. You want your captain believing in you. And you see that a lot. Even like last week against Aston Villa. Was that against Aston Villa? Or against Brentford? Remember Gabriel wanted the goals and he was basically
I think it was against Brentford.
On top of two Manchester United players.
Yeah,
that is a lack of confidence. Okay, that's a lack of confidence in your teammates. And you see that a lot. I think he needs to get out of his game because today he had a collision with, was it Souček? One of the players, and he took long to get off the ground. But if you see the build up to that, Harry Maguire had cleared the ball, and someone headed back to Tellez and McTominay were right under it. Maguire was probably like 10, 15 yards away from these men. These men were probably like 2 yards to the player that the ball was dropping to. And Maguire took it upon himself to sprint from there and just threw his body at the ball. And, he got a head collision and he was so slow to get up off the ground. And it started a counter attack. West Ham got into our box. Credit to him, he was able to shake it off eventually. He got back up, he got in the box, and I think he was the one that got the blocking.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But stuff like that, I would like to see Harry Maguire get out of his game. Trust your teammates. Trust the teammates, because if you don't trust the teammates, you end up putting the team under unnecessary pressure. And that,
I honestly believe when Harry first came, you see what you talk about there? That was the issue. Harry always used to be playing men on side, and because he was trying to do too much.
too
Right?
much.
It have
Too
players
much.
over there. What you trying to run and get
Trust the
over
team.
there for? It have players there. You stay here, and he would run, and then people would pass the ball where he was, and the man open, and we used to concede really stupid goals in the first 6 months when Harry was here.
Gotta
Yeah.
trust the team.
And he has seen improvement in that aspect of it, but
Yeah,
now that he is
still there a little.
under pressure in terms of for his starting position, he the lack of confidence would show itself again. What I wanted to come to you, Kevin, talk about was that control. The past 3 games, even the game that we drew against Aston Villa, I have seen a Manchester United in more control. That game we clearly ran out of gas, right? The intense play that Ralph's system calls for, we ran out of gas. But the 2 games after that, this game there was so much control. There's no game you would play. It doesn't matter how great you are, right? Where the opposition wouldn't get a chance. So the fact that West Ham had a couple chances was irrelevant. I look at the fact that West Ham even when they had a decent kind of set of possession, they were not able to produce good chances. That's what you're looking at, quality chances. Would you agree that we were Ralph's control mantra is starting to take hold in this team?
Yes and no. Yes, especially with the 4-3-3 system. I think he's getting with 2 8s. I think he's getting his ethos, his philosophy across to the guys. No, the reason I'm saying no is because you have to also take in context the teams that we are facing. West Ham, they were ranked bottom last season for possession. They don't have any qualms about giving the other team possession and playing on the break. And I think, taking into context the type of person David Moyes is, he's very pragmatic. He probably went into this game saying, if we avoid defeat, we can still be on top of Manchester United with a game in hand. And I think that's the attitude they went into this game with. We're going to concede possession. We're going to make it hard for them to break us down. And they did. So taking that into consideration, yes, we control the game, but look at the team and look at the manager for this game. Against Brentford, I would say I think it was more apparent taking control from Brentford, because Brentford were on top of us for that first 20 to 30 minutes. And then 20 minutes, and then between 20 and 30 minutes, we started to slowly get into the game. And then after 30 minutes, we took control of the game. So yes, I would say we took control of that game, because Brentford is a team that gets in your face. They press you. They don't give you time on the ball. And we saw that in the first 20 minutes against Aston Villa. Like you said, we started out good, but we ran out of steam. Something that Ralph admitted to, that he could have made some changes earlier. So I think he's now starting to get that idea with the formation, with the personnel he's picking. He's now starting to get it to come over to the guys. Who is our next opponent?
The next game is a FA Cup game, Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough.
And then a break. We will probably need to wait till after the break to see how it continues to develop. But I think it's on a good path, and I think we are facing the right teams to build confidence for the guys for the personnel to build confidence in how to play with control, how to close games out, etc. So yes and no to the question.
Just to add to what Caveman is saying, right? If you look at the last 3 games, Aston Villa, we started out well, but in the second half we were dead poor. In Brentford, we didn't start out well. In the second half we were poor.
Finished well.
In
And then today was
today's game,
wholesome
we controlled both halves. So
yeah
I see that as progression,
progression.
right?
That's
So
fair.
may we see more of that in the Middlesbrough game. I'm just taking it one game at a time.
One game at a
Right?
time.
One
Exactly.
game at a time, buddy.
So, Greg B, Carlton is saying West Ham has been playing very well this year. And the truth be told, West Ham was fourth.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't fourth because, people were dropping. West Ham was fourth because after Manchester City, Liverpool, and Chelsea, they were the best of the rest.
Yeah.
West Ham were beating people. You understand?
Yeah. I
West
mean,
Ham were
let's not
definitely
forget the kind
the
of scalps
best
they
of the
took.
rest. So, it is not, yes, what Caveman said is true. West Ham does play counter-attacking football. They love to use the pace of Antonio up front, and we all know, especially playing the bigger teams, that Moyes is pragmatic. But still, this
Mm-hmm.
is a big scalp to take this season. It may not have been a big scalp to take last season, but this season West Ham has definitely improved their game. Maybe, who knows? Maybe consistent and the more active Declan Rice contributes to it. Bowen is really lighting it up this year as well. But so for you, are you seeing Ralph's philosophy of control taking root, or you think we have a lot more to do still?
I think it's still is starting to kind of really show that sense of control, because remember, West Ham did give us a bit of trouble earlier this season when we played them, because we
Mhm.
did beat them 2-1
Yeah, we play West
at
Ham three
yeah
times,
at
and
the
the
London
two
Stadium,
times
and they
they
knocked
gave
us
us
out.
trouble.
Yeah, and they knocked us out of the Carabao Cup. So it's not like they've been pushovers. Yes, they play counter-attacking football, but that system works for the kind of players that they have and for the kind of style that they want to play. And they've managed to take some big scalps off of that due to that. I mean, they have beaten Chelsea, they have beaten Liverpool as well this season too. So they've done that, and they found a way to be consistent at least enough to be in the top four. Now that we've come there, we've done a double over them this season now, so it helps us get up to the position where we need to be. They still have a game in hand, but we're at least going to put ourselves in a better position to secure our spot now. It's just a matter of us making sure that we maintain what we're doing. But in retrospect, Ralph has kind of found a way for everybody to get more involved, get more energy levels up.
Mhm.
It's an improvement, especially from what we saw, of course, down to the last few games with Solskjaer's reign. It shows us that we're really trying to make the necessary strides, and hopefully once everybody keeps on board with what's taking place, it works and everybody gets more cohesive, and the system starts to flow more. You see more accuracy in the way that we are up front. I'm just praying that we continue on this path that we're looking at.
All right, Devin, I wanna come to you with this question, and is how do you feel looking at Manchester United right now? Because I know a month or so ago, I didn't used to feel good watching Manchester United. You used to watch your team and you used to kind of hope we win, especially coming to the end of Ole's time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you used to hope we win more and have a belief that we were going to win. You know what I mean? Because the team was playing so poorly. It's like game after game. It's like, oh my gosh, when are we going to, turn it around? So, how before, but just before you answer that question, let's do this.
Support the United Hour. Click that like button and subscribe.
Yeah, Devin. So talk to us. How do you feel when you watch that game today? While you were
So
watching it, what kind of emotions were you going through?
I was saying that you're starting to see Ralph's system actually implemented properly. You're seeing progression compared to how it was. Well, minus the Crystal Palace game where we played out of our minds, but it seemed like we regressed back to how we were before. And so I am optimistic. I am happy with what I saw, but I'm not gonna get carried away with that yet. I need to see it on a consistent basis more before I start saying, yeah, yeah, boy, this is it. So, but today definitely was great. I was very happy with the way the team played today. I was very happy that the team did not quit. The team did not run out of energy, and it paid off with a late. Well, I guess we could say Ralph time goal now instead of Fergie time, and so it just showed like from the work rate was good. I thought, and the fact that it took all the changes that came in to create that goal. When you see all of them were involved, that spoke volumes about the coaching and making the right changes. Because I know for a couple of times we were a little bit afraid of or a little bit upset that changes were made, but they were made too late. And I think Ralph got it spot on today. Because I also thought West Ham was very well coached today, and they were very hard to break down. And so we just kept on going, and I think we only had what two attempts on goal that entire game, if that. And you know what? We took our chances, and so I'm happy with that. But let's keep that momentum going now.
You know, one of the things I was happy about today was the whole. There were two things that took me back to Alex era. One, you know, we all remember those games when Sir Alex would send on all the attackers. You know, we would just play like with 5 attacking players on the pitch because he running on a goal, you know, in the last 10 minutes. And that was nice to see today. You know, Ralph was like, "Here, what's going on? I need this goal." We Martial, we send on everybody. You understand? We send on everybody. Cavani, Martial, Rashford, all they go there, do something. And those 3 players were all involved in the goal, which was significant.
Yes.
And then the other thing was Fergie time. You know, the fact that we got the goal literally at the death. You know, those 2 things took me back to Sags. And it also shows me, you know, we have a manager who is not afraid to take big decisions on and off the pitch. You know, so, you know,
Something we've been missing for some time.
who wants to weigh in on those 2 things? The Fergie time and, you know, the success of the substitutions.
Well, at the end of the day, West Ham played like a lower block team today. So why not take that risk and throw on whoever is like a striker or a forward, whoever is on the bench, right? Taking off a midfielder and throwing on Cavani and Martial definitely worked out, right? United realized that the game was there for the taking. I was kind of starting to lose hope when I heard that there was only 3 minutes of extra time, but literally the last kick of the game saw us grab that 3 points, right? And lo and behold, so Alex Ferguson was there to witness it, and you know those are just some nostalgia moments for him. So kudos to Ralph for throwing on everyone to get that goal, to get that 3 points, because in my opinion, when it comes down to a certain point of the game, tactics are out of the window. Doesn't matter if a 4-3, doesn't matter if a 4-3-3, a 3-5-2. When it comes to a certain point in the game, like the 80th minute or 85th minute, tactics are out the window. Right?
Yeah, last 10 minutes we had 0 shape. It had no shape in our team. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So yeah, so
throwing the quintessential kitchen sink at it.
Exactly. So I'm proud that the team fought to the end. Fergie would have definitely been proud. And one thing we did today was we also kept a clean sheet. So
correct.
Kudos to David De Gea for, I think it's 161 or 62 clean sheets now.
Correct is right.
And the best part about that too was the fact that he didn't even have to work that hard today. I thought it was just like one save that all he had to make today, and you still get the clean sheet, you still get the accolades, and so it was great to have a match where we didn't have to depend entirely on David De Gea.
That shows you how well the team played, because there are many matches this season where David De Gea was given the man of the match, right? And everybody's raving about that, but that's only one guy, right? What happened to the other 10 idiots who played shit? At the end of the day, when your goalkeeper does not have to be called upon 20 times again, that shows you how well your defense was organized and how well the team played, right? So kudos to Man United today.
So let's get into some team. Let's get into some rankings. I don't necessarily, let's start with the man himself, David De Gea. Well, what you giving David De Gea, Caveman?
Man, I suck at ranking, so I'll give him an average.
0 to 10.
I would give him whatever falls in the average. So it's 5 or 6 because he had nothing to do today, really. Except for organize the guys, talk to the guys, keep the communication line open. But he hardly had any work to do today. and I love games like that. So I'll probably give him a 6.
Greg B?
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably give him a 6 myself too. I mean, there was this one instance where I saw him punch out a corner when I was coming in, and I mean, that's one thing I've always said, that I've always had an issue with David De Gea. Sometimes he's not commanding when it comes to set plays and corner kicks, and he showed a little sign of that today. That, you know what, I need to
Well,
take
if
charge
I'm
of
not
this one. But
mistaken, the ball before, the corner before,
Mhm.
Suchek had a header that
Yeah,
barely missed the post. And
yep,
I think
Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
David thought to
yeah, he
himself,
was.
I ain't going to let this shit come close to my goal again. So when he
Correct.
saw the ball coming
That
out, he
that was
made
basically,
sure.
yeah,
He
because that
made
first one, I
sure and
remember
get
that
the
one you're
hands
talking
in.
about. It just
Yeah, he
basically
wasn't.
glanced right past him, and everybody else looked
We
like a
got
deer in the headlights.
real lucky Antonio was not on the end of that. So
Yeah, he
yes.
wasn't
Yeah,
going
yeah,
through that
yeah.
again.
Man, give it,
So
man,
he
give it
made
that
sure and
DJ
get the
Bravo
hands in.
champion punch, boy.
Oh my god.
Was your ranking, Devin?
So I will have to say, and this is a good thing that he was rather uneventful today because he didn't have much to do. We wouldn't depend on him so much. So this is not meant to be like a slight thing towards a ranking for him, but it's just that I would say probably a 6 when we know he's normally like an 8, 8.5. But it's only because he didn't have much to do today, and that gives credit to how well the defense was organized today.
All right, and you, Big Phil.
Yeah. If we can come on this panel and give David De Gea 6s and 5s, that shows you how well the team played. So I don't
No, no,
mind.
no. Given David here 6s and 5s, and we had a clean sheet. If we give him
Correct.
6s and
Yeah.
5 and we get 5, is a different
Yeah.
story. But
Yeah.
6s
So
and 5 with a clean sheet, we'll take that.
correct.
Yep.
So I give him a 6.5 today for the clean sheet as
All
well as
right,
the
cool.
score.
Well, I concur with the average. So far the average is about 6, and I'm cool with that. Let's deal with the two because it looked like twins today. Delo and Tellez look like twins. They both kept taking the ball, switching it to the next foot, and crossing it in the box. And it's Delo's crosses were consistently 1 yard too far. He kept over crossing the ball consistently. He needs to tweak that a yard down so that Ronaldo would have a chance to get on the ball. Those balls, and the only time his cross resulted in any kind of danger was because Ilanga was on the far side and able to get the ball and bring it into the box. You know what I'm saying? So the low needs to do that. And I've been talking about the low and his crosses for a little while. So the low and Tellez, what kind of ranking you're gonna give them, Caveman?
I would give them probably around the same thing. I like, well, uh, as a pair or individually.
You go ahead.
Okay.
Just get them a ranking. You don't have to break it down.
Mhm.
I think I would give Dallo probably a 6.5 and Tellers a 6 for the same thing that you mentioned earlier in this panel when you said that instead of driving at the offense when he gets the ball, he will cross it too early, and
Yeah.
a lot of times it amounted to nothing. But sometimes actually more times than so it actually got into dangerous positions. Their defense had to work to get it out. With Dallo, same thing that you said. But Dallo, man, he was ever present going forward. I like Dallo. He's brave. He's confident. His link up play, and also his defense is today was actually better than other times.
The one thing I have to say
He got
today
his
with
tour
Dallo
in. Uh-huh.
is he needs to stop practicing shooting with Fred. He needs to go and practice shooting with McTominay. You know what I mean? When McTominay is out there practicing
Martial.
shooting, go and practice shooting with McTominay. When you see Fred
Man,
shooting,
the man is
go
a
near
right.
Fred at
The
all.
man is a right back. There aren't that much right backs in the world of football that have that take great shots, and all of them are on target all the time. Come on.
But
That's
you
bad.
know
So
my
see,
thing with
I'm
that,
not
Phil?
going to hold that against him. I'm not
You
going
know
to
what's
hold
my
that.
thing with that, Phil? Then don't shoot. You have Cavani, because at that time Cavani was on. You have Cavani, you have Ronaldo, you have Rashford on the pitch.
Martial.
Don't shoot. Pass the ball. You understand? Pass the ball.
You
But
know,
anyway,
if any of those shots end up in the back of the net, we ain't complaining about that. No.
Exactly.
Mhm.
bro,
But he's saying that don't get close.
When Fred shots end up in the back of the net, we don't complain. But the truth is, 9 out of 10 times we had to complain because it is end up in the stand.
Hey, Fred almost scored today. Ariola actually had to save his shot. Do not disrespect Fred like that. I apologize to that man.
So, what say you, Greg B? Tellez and Ilang Delo.
I kind of have to agree with Kevin there. I think it's like Dalot looked a bit more better defensively because there was a couple of times he actually tracked back and made tackles. There was one instance.
You sound like a real Trinity boy, more better.
Yeah. Well, hey, what apologizing for?
If I say more better.
What apologizing for? Much better tackles. I am a Trinity. I'm not ashamed.
I'm telling you to apologize, brother.
That's the magazine reverse back.
I think that's a Caribbean thing. Anyhow, but yeah.
Redundancy, man.
So you win 6.5 and 6 as well?
Yes, because defensively, Dalot was a bit more sound. There were, like I said, there was an instance where I think it was either Fornals or Lanzini who was trying to put in a cross and he was tracked back and stopped it. So he was showing a bit more defensive stability and shape when it came to that. Tellez, on the other hand, when he got forward, the minute he got forward, that left side was heavily exposed a lot. Thankfully, it didn't really result in anything. But
Ilanga was working double time,
and that's what you have to say. Thank God for Anthony Ilanga, because to make sure and cover for those blemishes that were left by the fullbacks on both sides.
And that's my concern. My concern is, do I believe that Rashford and Sancho are better players than Ilanga at this stage? Yes. Obviously, Ilanga is still ascending. These guys they could still get better, but they have done a lot and they have experience. My issue is the work rate.
Yeah.
Am I confident that Rashford will make the kind of 60, 50, 70-yard runs at high pace that Ilanga does to do defensive work? I don't know that Rashford is going to do that.
I want to make a quick point about Dalot and Tellez that I realized too today. Quickly, a 30-second point. They both get tight on their defenders. I mean, on their attackers. They both get tight. They don't give them much time to turn around. They don't give them much space. I saw Tellez chase someone from the left back, from his defensive third into the middle third today. Mourinho would have liked two of them, because this is something that Mourinho constantly pointed out with Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw gives the attackers time to turn around and square him up, and they either get a cross off or get a pass off. And Wan-Bissaka does the same thing too. And how many times have we seen teams just run down United's flanks, get wide, and cross the ball, knowing that there's vulnerability in the middle? So I like that about Dalot and Tellez. They get tight on their defenders and they don't allow them time to turn, or they're either nibbling at their toes. I saw them take balls off of people's toes so many times today. They just want to throw that little point into there to my ratings.
Yeah. Good observation. Devin, what you giving our wing backs today?
So I am actually torn between 6.5 and 7, because at the end of the day, they still kept the clean sheet. And we have not had many this season. So first and foremost,
clean sheet is deserving of an extra point, eh?
So it's first and foremost, they did their job today. Their first job is to make sure the ball does not go in our nets. So they did that first and foremost. Now I know the modern day fullbacks now they're now have to be able to cross the ball and all that too. So I can give benefit of the doubt for that, but they did their primary job today. And so that's why I'm here debating between 6.5 and 7, because it's one of those two, and I have to leave it at that.
All right, cool. Phil.
I'm going to give Tellez a 5.5, Dalot a 6. Tellez did well defensively, but I think he could have done more when he got the football on a counter-attack, right? This whole crossing into the box, it becomes kind of predictable, because it's almost like Cresswell and Zuma allow Tellez to get the ball, because they know it's gonna end up doing one thing, coming into them, right? So they can just easily head out the ball, right? So Tellez definitely gets a 5.5. Dalot gets a 6 because, yeah, he kept a clean sheet, but I've always said on many podcasts that Dalot is a breath of fresh air going forward. I'm tired of seeing Wan-Bissaka, who is like Bambi on ice, right? Who doesn't know what to do with the football going forward. It's almost like he gets a nosebleed if he has the football going forward. Dalot definitely for the last couple of games where Ralph has started him, breath of fresh air going forward. So 6 for me.
All right. Well, because of the clean sheet, I'm gonna give both of them a 7. But I'm gonna say this: Luke Shaw will always have the opportunity to fight for the position of left back in this team because he does one thing that Alex Telles does not do. He cuts inside. He doesn't just square up and pass the ball. Alex Telles is unbelievably predictable. You just know what he's going to do. He's not, if he takes his man on, he takes him on for 5 yards. You know what it is? You see, I don't mind if you're David Beckham and you beat a player and you're only seeing green grass in front of you, but you know that you could drop the ball on a man head, you could drop the ball on a dime, and you cross that ball. I don't mind that. David Beckham could do that. He could see green grass to run and cross the ball, and he gets 2 thumbs up. When you're Alex Telles and your crosses are 50-50, and you have green grass in front of you, I want you to run. I don't want you to stop and cross the ball because I'm not sure that it's going to land on somebody's head.
Also, Alex Telles does not have a right foot. The guy
he always has to transfer the ball as well. So
exactly. The guy can only.
So you're already telegraphing the cross. We
Correct.
know what you're going to do, and even if we wasn't sure, you're still doing it, right? We know you're going to do it when you cross over. So that's why Shaw will always have a chance, because Shaw could cross, but Shaw also will play 1-2s, run, cut into the box. Shaw always gives you that little, you're not sure what he's going to do. And that makes us a little more dynamic on the left-hand side. So when Shaw will always have a chance to get into this side. Wan-Bissaka, on the other hand, that's a fight. He had to work real hard to get back into this team.
That's a fight for real.
He had to work real hard to get back into this team. But I will give them 7 mainly because of the clean sheet. So Varane and Harry Maguire. I almost forgetting my name. Greg B, start us off.
For me, I have to give Varane a 7 because for me, the way he battled, in spite of falling and having a couple of awkward landings, he was composed, and he didn't put a foot wrong, much like Maguire. But it's gonna sound very biased on my end, but I have to give Maguire 7.5 because of the fact that he showed up and he showed a bit more composure outside of the unnecessary headers that you felt okay, maybe he should have taken down. He really. He looked immense. He looked better than most people. And most people gave him credit for.
If the only thing you could complain about a defender for is him taking headers around the middle of the pitch, not in your own box, that's not good. That's not good.
Right?
So like I said, it wasn't anything outstanding on his part, but it was a lot better than most people probably anticipated from him. So for
that's
me,
7 for both of them?
7 for them. Yeah.
Devin?
7.5s. Clean sheet, they did their job.
Big Phil?
Yeah, this season, most of the time you see Harry Maguire turn to Lizzie Maguire, but today he was Toby Maguire, right? So definitely 7.5.
I'm not saying Spider-Man.
I'm going to tell CJ you're plagiarizing him. I'm going to tell CJ you're plagiarizing him.
Nobody ain't getting past that net today.
I am going to tell CJ you're plagiarizing him, man. I'm going to tell CJ you're plagiarizing him, man. Stop that. Only he is allowed to use the Marvel comparisons on this panel.
Boy,
Stop
shut
that.
up.
Stop
Boy,
that.
shut up. Anyway, Varane,
Isaac Hayes,
you red Ninja Turtle today. Definitely played well today. Took a hard falling, but definitely got back up and led the team in the defense. And yeah, both 7.5s today for me.
And what say you, Caveman?
I would say both 7s for me. Easily both 7s for me. I really can't pinpoint anything that they did well. I spoke about what I saw with Maguire earlier. And then another time too, when he headed the ball to Ronaldo, and Ronaldo even pointed out to him and said, "Hey,
I remember that play. I remember that play.
Down, control it. I was already outside coming back on side. Y'all, y'all got me? All right, cool. So I wouldn't take too much off from Greg for that. Their points, their parts that he could improve, so I would easily give both of them a 7.
All right, cool. Let's head into the midfield. Scott McTominay.
Who's going first with that?
Wasn't there
6.5?
wasn't much.
6.5, I think.
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of go around the 6.5. He wasn't as good as his run out against Brentford, but there wasn't much that Scott did wrong today per se. But because
That's it.
but West Ham played such as a low block team, it's almost like, yo, we can give you the ball, and when we get it, we can try and counter attack, right? But West Ham is almost like the battle of turnovers, the battle of giving away the ball today, right? Because West Ham gave away the ball a lot today, right? There's some instances where Scott kept Declan Rice quiet, but there are other times Scott let Declan Rice just fly past him. But just a 6.5 today for me for Scott. We touched on Fred already, right? Or we didn't?
No, not yet.
We did it.
No, we haven't touched on
Fred.
We touch on Fred separately. Caveman. Scott.
Yeah. I can't remember how Scott played today. I guess that's a good thing. Means that he didn't do anything. That means that he didn't do anything that was alarming, and he didn't do anything that was spectacular. So I'll give him a 6 for that reason.
I'm gonna give Scott a solid 7, simply because he did not regress. Scott has played 2 games in this new system in the bottom of the triangle in midfield well, and I didn't see Scott regress. One of the things with Scott McTominay, he'll have a great game, goal, assist, all kind of contribution, and then the next game is like, God, really?
Who's this?
He did not regress, right? The team elevated their play. The whole team played well, and Scott was part of that good play today. Obviously, he did give away the ball a little once or twice, but generally, he did some good work. So I would give Scott a solid.
Hey, boy, West Indies beat England.
I'll give him a 6.5.
Man said West Indies beat England, no?
I never get tired of that.
Beat England, no?
I just remember where they were playing at, so I think that had something to do with it too.
Yeah.
I feel so.
We keep a clean sheet.
Man
City dropped points today, and West Indies beat England. Well,
what a day,
boy!
What a day!
Yes.
What a time to be alive,
boys. That's why Pastor Fred had to sing. Right in time to talk about man himself, Fred. Begley.
He was all over. He was all over, much like Elanga and other players. So he really kind of put himself around, and he had a few pivotal moments. That one shot that was, I thought he was going to bury that past Areola. Areola did well to get a hand to that. I'll give him a 7.5 because he really did. He seemed like he excelled a bit today from me. He didn't have the greatest of games, but his levels were up there. So you felt like he was doing enough to make an impact.
His ball control was immaculate today.
Yes, it
was. Sometimes Fred took the ball, he ran with it, he beat some players.
He looked like a Brazilian Fred today.
Not English Fred. Brazilian Fred.
Or Venezuelan Fred or whatever.
All right. A solid 7 from Greg B. What say you, Devin?
I agree. 7.
7. Caveman?
7. And one thing that I want to point it to, I think Fred's new role is looking for the runners off the wing. That assist that he got for Elanga, I wanted to see if it was a fluke. I think he did trade it again today. Yeah, but it didn't pull off.
But that can't be a fluke because the game before, he's the one who crossed the ball in for McTominay's header.
Yeah. So I think his new instructions from Ryan that he's picking up and he's adding it to his game. So I'm definitely liking this tool that he's added to his kit. So easily giving him a 7. Shoot, might even get reckless and give him a 7.5.
Oh.
Oh, he eating
Big
nice
Phil,
tonight, huh?
Big Phil, what say you on Fred?
Yeah, just agree with you, President Chad. With regards to him controlling the ball today, simple. Like we said earlier in the podcast, there are small spaces. There could have been two guys on Fred today. Fred was still at least looking to control the ball on his chest and
Hmm.
distribute it, right? Because Fred's distribution today was really good. There were times where, and this is early in the season, where Fred would just do back passing, but Fred actually passed the ball forward today. And that will, for me, be a 7.5 for Fred today.
And I think that's something Carlton was mentioning earlier in the game, that we were playing more vertical and passing the ball forward
Hmm.
a
Yeah.
lot. You know, we weren't just doing the back passes. Bruno Fernandez.
Wow.
Why are you laughing?
Is this a Bayesian thing? Because I feel like it's like everybody, like
Oh.
most of these guys have something against Bruno Fernandez. No offense, there, Devin.
I don't hate Bruno Fernandez, but all right, let me go ahead then. Finding it tough to give him between a 6.5 to 7. I'll probably go with a 6.5 for the mere fact that he put the team under unnecessary pressure 2 times in the first half. When he opted for that hero ball pass instead of playing the simpler or more common sense pass. There was a time Greenwood was making a run on the right side, and Bruno could have slot the ball just short there. Instead, Bruno go for a cross the field pass, and it ended up dropping at the most informed player in the league, in Jared Bowen. And who had to stop him? The man that has been out of form from Manchester United, in Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire 1-on-1 with Jared Bowen. That was heated at Bruno. I was like, Jesus, peace, man, get this out your game. And then he did it again, probably like 10 minutes later. But Scott McTominay stopped it in the midfield. So I really want to see Bruno get that out of his game. It really annoys
You
me.
but you asking Bruno to get hero passes out of his game is
But when
like
did it work?
cutting off a bird's wings, man. Clipping a bird's wings. That's Bruno. That is Bruno's game.
Nah, but
Nah,
you gotta know when to make the hero
when
pass,
to
when
make
to
it.
make the simple pass, right? There was also a time where there was a counter attack where Bruno could have controlled the ball and slotted into Mason Greenwood, because Mason Greenwood already has the pace, right? He would have beaten Cresswell easily, but Bruno decides to, when the ball is coming to him, he tries to play it one time instead of controlling it and then looking to pass to Mason Greenwood. But it's given away to Cresswell, and Cresswell is on the counter attack. And
Counter
like
attack.
Caveman said, he's putting us under pressure in moments where we don't need to be under pressure, right? So it's a six for me for Bruno.
6.5 for me
6. All
too.
right, cool. What say you, Devin?
Yeah, I would have to say a 6.5 for this one today. It's not he's not the same performances that we were used to when he first came to England. And so when he was always the man and everything had to go through him and whatnot too. So now it's you have different players out there, and Bruno needs to start adapting more to the different places instead of just constantly going for those glory passes or the glory shots. Yes, there's a time and place for them. It was against Brentford where he had 2 assists and he should have had a goal. So yes, he has his moments there, but he has to learn where sometimes okay, not go for this 30-yard pass crossfield that might not play, that might not make it. Take the higher probability pass, and then in certain times, then you can go for those balls when it's the time and place for that.
So what was your ranking?
6.5.
6.5. What say you, Greg?
The beer just treated Bruno rough, man.
Mm.
Nah,
Now that these two guys have finished comparing notes down here, um, I'll give him a 6.5 as well too, because like they did say, those two passes were a bit unnecessary. But with someone like Bruno Fernandez, the way he plays, that's like you said, that's something that he's accustomed doing. I just hope they keep that same energy for Paul Pogba when he does the same thing. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned in this situation, you have to look at it. You want to keep the momentum going. You want to keep it as fluid and as simple as possible to make progression. So that they were unnecessary moments, and thankfully they did not result into anything disastrous for that in the grand scheme of things. So Bruno needs to sharpen up on that and realize, okay, you're in a different position from what you were accustomed to now in the system. try and utilize that to the best of your ability. So yeah, 6.5 for me.
I'll give Bruno a solid 7. I have no issues with Bruno hero passing as long as it's in the opposition half. I mean, just like Delo's taking, low quality shots, I would agree it would be better if Bruno would take high percentage passes. So I'm not giving Bruno a pass. I'm just saying that, once you're not losing the ball in our half, I cool with that. Do hero stuff in their half of the pitch, right?
Yeah,
I
fair
have a
enough.
problem when we lose the ball in our half of the pitch. That's what is really tick me off. I don't mind us trying stuff when it's on the attack. When you're attacking, you're liable to try things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, no risk, no
Um,
reward.
Ilanga and Greenwood. Devin, how you rank
So
Ilanga and Greenwood today?
so
And
I
people
thought
people tuning in, sending your ranking in the comments.
in terms of Anthony Elanga, I would have said, well, before Rashford scored the winner, I would have said he was man of the match for me. That I loved his work rate today. I thought that it was immense. It was everything that you asked for in a United player. And it speaks volumes that he's only now breaking into the first team and he already has a chant, a real good chant too. So that speaks volumes right there. You all heard that chant
Sing
yet?
it. Sing it.
You don't want me to sing.
Sing it.
Nope. I
Sing
no
it.
Greg
Go
Greg
sing it,
Greg be you
man.
the singer. Greg,
I don't
Greg be
know.
you
I
the
don't know.
singer.
That's why I'm asking you to sing it.
So anyway, it's a chat off of the song that 90s techno song Rhythm is a Dancer.
Ah, yeah, I've
They
heard
they
this
they
song.
did a
Nah,
they
sing
did a
it.
chat for him. They did a chat for
Yeah,
him off
we had a Shazam that, man.
that. But anyway, like it speaks volumes about
So how
how
much you giving
impressive
him?
he. So I was gonna get to that right now. It speaks volumes about how well he's been playing lately. And for me, he gets an 8.
And Greenwood.
For Greenwood, let me see. He would probably be getting about 7 for me today. But Alanga to me stood out immensely more than anybody else today.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Um, Greg B.
Yeah, I mean, I shared Devin's sentiments. I mean, he was all over the place. He put himself about even defensive work, getting forward. It's there was nothing that he was not willing to do, and you could see that in the way that he carried about himself. His work rate was up there. This is one person I could clearly tell that when Ralph gave out the homework, that everybody was complaining that it was affecting their home life. Bunch of babies. Um, he took that on board and said to himself, "All right, this is my opportunity to establish myself in this team as a first team regular. Let me tap into what's taking place here, and it shows that he really buys into what's taking place because he wants to be a part of the success that this brings. The fact that he was able to get about and had a couple of chances to get in the box, they were unfortunate. It was unfortunate that he didn't really latch on to any clear cut chances, but for the work rate alone, I give him 8.
All right, cool. Um, Caveman, Ilanga, and Greenwood.
Jesus. Man, I hope you go Phil first, man, because I know I'm a sound like the villain. Because Elanga, I will probably give Elanga a 6.5 because of the work rate and the tracking back. But going forward with the ball, there was some left to be desired. Something left to be desired going forward. Kind of reminds me of like a Dan James, but he's more polished. So so I admire his work rate. I like if it's one thing he's only 18, 19.
Mm-hmm.
If it's one thing that at that age you want to do is you got to learn how to stay in the game mentally and make your presence felt. And I think he was able to do that well today because of his presence, tracking back, work rate. Yeah. So they can't give him any more than 6.5. Greenwood. Greenwood. Well, I really can't remember anything Greenwood did spectacular today either. So I'll probably go with a 6.5 also. Maybe a 7. Maybe I'm being harsh. Maybe I'll give both of them a 7 just to go with the flow.
Phil,
Caveman, I could join you in being the villain as well too, because this whole work and tracking back, you're talking about an 18-year-old.
Of course they're gonna run around.
You're talking about an 18-year-old football player who has a bunch of energy. He's a Lucozade bottle. Okay, he's an 18-year-old. So this tracking back and work rate, I don't really buy that. Okay, so don't get me wrong, Elanga did well today, and that's why I'm going to give him a 7. A 7. I was stuck between a 6.5 and a 7, but since Caveman gave him a 6.5, I'll take the higher route and give him a 7. Right? So
Caveman gave him a 7.
Not going to
Caveman gave him a 7.
this whole work rate tracking back, because first things first, when you're playing in the EPL, you always have to track back, right? Second thing, he's an 18-year-old. He's not like a 37-year-old, right? So I would give Elanga.
So why does that make that less impressive, Phil?
What do you mean?
Why does that make that less impressive? I mean, he's now breaking into this team to have that willingness to be able to do that, knowing the position you're initially brought in to be. It shows that that's dedication to your job. In spite of it, I mean, you remember guys like Wayne Rooney was dropping back at times, and he's supposed to be a center forward, going back and helping out, tackling with the defense. Those are things that you would expect. He was 20, 25 doing those things. This kid is 18. For him to throw himself about the way he did, yeah, that wins the respect of many people, senior and older, and is a good example going forward for him to keep going, and it shows that he's willing to work.
I'm not impressed by that. Right?
What impresses you?
At that age.
What impresses you? Somebody with a fancy haircut and doing dabs? That was what impressed
you. Come on, that would impress anybody.
Exactly right. It's like he trying to put stick on me because I'm not impressive running back and being the age of 18 that you have all this energy. The guy is not your age.
Working hard, Phil.
The guy is not 49. The guy is not your age, Greg. The guy is not 49 years old, right? At the end of the day, he's 18 years old. Right? He's about 30 years younger than you, Greg. Okay. So at the end of the day, right? At the age
he's probably 90 years younger than you.
If the guy does not have enough energy as an 18-year-old, if he has no energy as an 18-year-old to track back and run back, then he should not be playing football. He should be playing golf.
Okay, Tales from the Crypt. You go ahead and go back into your tomb.
That's a good point, Phil.
Man. If he's
Let's see what you're saying. Let's see what you're saying.
And he does not have energy, play darts, play dominoes, or come and join us on the United Hour to talk about football. That's what we should be doing. I'm not impressed with that.
Anthony Lang, if you're watching,
it's called going the extra mile. Give it from your position that you're originally in. That's what's going on there. That's what he's doing.
Extra mile, my ass. Let's move on.
I forgot you can't even run a mile.
Anyway,
I totally understand where Phil is coming from the standpoint that as much as he may sound like he dong on Anthony Elanga, Phil would be the first one to say Anthony Elanga keeping Greenwood and Sancho out of the team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? His energy and his work rate is doing that, but at the same time,
it's not
at 18 years old, and not just at 18, when you're trying to break into the team, these are the kind of things you're just supposed to do. Because if you don't do it, you ain't gonna be in the team much longer.
So you're supposed to give them credit for that when they do it anyway?
It's foundational. It's just basics. It's just basics.
Yeah, but don't you give them credit when they do it anyway? Because how many of those guys you've seen on the field do it currently?
But when they first broke in, they were doing it.
Let's move on, guys. We tipping over. We well into the hour. 7 from Caveman, 7 from Phil, Elanga, and Greenwood. Did I do you, Greg B, already?
Well, I did Elanga. I didn't do Greenwood, yes.
Greenwood. What was your rank on Greenwood?
Greenwood had moments where he was in good positions, just didn't take too many chances. I mean, you have to put that down to West Ham playing the low block and really restricting anybody from getting any proper shots off. So, given the way that he played, he still was another good player. But I have to give him a 6.5 because his rate wasn't as memorable as Elanga's, so it didn't really stand out for me as much. But it wasn't a bad performance from him.
And Devin?
Yeah, so I said before it was going to be an 8 for Elanga, and then I said a 7 for Greenwood.
All right, good. So let's jump into the strikers. Let's jump in, not the striker, to the lone man on top that we didn't talk about. The man himself, Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, I want to ask a question. When last did Cristiano Ronaldo score a goal for Manchester United?
Burnley.
It just seems like it's been a little while.
Yes.
The man scored a goal for 2022, boy.
So, how we ranking Cristiano Ronaldo today? Big Phil, start us off.
Um, I can't really think of anything that Ronaldo did that stood out. I'm gonna have to give Ronaldo a 5.5 today because I know the levels that Ronaldo's capable of playing at, right? Um, there were some link up plays that Ronaldo did, and Ronaldo did kind of assist with the lead up to the goal in the 93rd minute. But other than that, there weren't any other standout plays or any passes that Ronaldo made that were um, that were instrumental in us having a chance on goal, right? So a 5.5 today. If I'm being generous, a 6.
Devin?
I would have to say a six. I think West Ham did a real good job of marking him out of the game today. He did have one really close opportunity where I believe it was a Bruno Fernandes cross that came in with pace, and it probably missed him by inches. But besides that, and the build up play to the winner, I thought he was rather uneventful. So it's not like he played bad, but he didn't play up to the par that he should be at. So I have to leave it as a six today.
Caveman?
A 6 for me too. I think his passing was better today. His link up play. I saw what he was trying to do, but the guys around him weren't executing like the layoffs and stuff and so forth. Like when he had laid off a ball to Dallo, and Dallo just kept sprinting, and the ball hit off Dallo's foot and went off.
Yeah,
So I saw what
And then
Ronaldo was
he
trying to
did a
do
cut back towards Ilanga as well in the box.
towards Elang. Yeah. So he was trying to link up. He was trying to link up, but the players that
It
he was
didn't come
linking up
off,
with,
yeah.
the execution wasn't there. So I would give him a 6. Nothing outstanding, except for that layoff to Martial. So yeah, a solid 6. Good performance, not
Greg?
bad. Yeah.
It looks like I'm going to be the villain in this situation. He gets a 5 for me.
Damn.
A 5. I'm sorry. Yeah, I told you. I told you I'm going to be the. Here's my reasoning why. There were a lot of times that I felt like he dwelled on the ball a bit too much. And instead of looking for the option to probably lay it off to somebody who was in more of a free space, because you're Cristiano Ronaldo, you know at least 2 or 3 people are going to flood in front of you as you get that ball. So in some instances, you weren't always looking up. I mean, the one with Ilanga, that was a one off. I mean, the pass to Dallo that basically kind of hit off his foot. Those were one or two a couple of times, but most times he would try to
Martial too.
push forward. No, yeah, the layoff to Marshall was a good one. I'll give him credit there. But there were a couple of times where he would be pushing forward, and he would try to see if he could force the shot. And anytime he did that, he was wet with either Zuma or Masalaku or Dawson trying to close him down the minute he tried to release. So I felt like there were a lot of times in that game he could have made better decisions. So I'm sorry, he gets a 5 from me.
Um,
That's fair.
I my challenge with Ronaldo, I'll give Ronaldo a 6. Yes, Ronaldo did try to link up the play, and I do see Cristiano Ronaldo recognizing that for him to be part of this team, he has to be part of this team. He's not going to be successful in this team just being the point man, right? That was not how this team was built. This team wasn't built for a point man striker. This team was built for interchangeable three. The Cristiano Ronaldo that we need now is not the Cristiano Ronaldo from Juventus and Real Madrid. Is the
Nope.
Cristiano Ronaldo that played with Rooney and Tevez, a front three that was interchangeable, that was passing the ball to each other, that was feeding off of each other. And I saw that today, right? I saw Ronaldo try that, but he was just doing it too slow. As according to Greg, he didn't, mentally it taking him a little while to get there. He realizes I need to link the play more, but it's just taking him a little while to get there. But these are growing pains that I could live with, because I expect that by the time Champions League comes around, this team should be up another 2 levels. So I would give Ronaldo a 6 today. Um, Aaron Charles is saying that Greenwood played poop. I don't agree. with him and that, but that's all right. That's what we all about, opinion. So, we I'm not going to go through all three of these guys. So I'm
The
going to
subs.
call the three of them name because normally, we don't give rankings for people coming off the bench. But these, these these subs were all involved in the goal. So I think we need to talk about them.
One of the subs scored the goal.
Mm-hmm.
One assist, and one was the assist before the assist.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I said they all
the
involved.
assist and the goal.
The three
So
amigos.
when we talk about Rashford, Cavani, and Martial, let's see. I'm gonna give Devin Martial. What's your rank on Martial, Devin?
Um, he wasn't on enough to make a big impact. He had a great chance to score towards the end. He fluffed his lines on that, but then he did make it up, obviously, with building up to the goal. So I would have to say a 6.5.
All right, fair enough. Big Phil Cavani.
Yeah, he got the assist.
And he
And
didn't try to go for goal. That was a pass.
and
That was a real assist.
I was just about to get to that because at the end of the day, I've said it many times, football is about decision making, right? Football is played with up here, right? Cavani as a striker could have gone
Should
for
be
goal.
going for that. Yeah.
Should have gone for goal, but he did the smart decision, passed the football, and lo and behold, one love, 93rd minute, boom. Right? So I'm gonna give Cavani a 7.5.
All right. And Keith, man, what you say about Rashford?
Jeez,
2 goals in 2 games.
Your favorite player, boy.
Well, that got me conflicted here, no, because he was pretty absent when he came on, but his movement, his off the ball movement, was brilliant for that goal. So I wouldn't give him a ranking for that, but I would still. But
No, it's
because
not
of the
ranking,
goal,
really. You know what you say. What you say?
huh?
You don't have to give him a ranking, but you know what you say about Rashford.
Yeah. Yeah, man. There wasn't anything much to praise him for besides the goal. I really can't recall anything.
That's more than
that he did.
enough.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
He did what he was supposed to do. The ball was in the back of the net, so yes, and
Put
it's
the ball
it's
in the net.
good. It's good also when you see he getting his confidence back to become the player that we all know that he is, that he's capable of being.
Goals do
Smiling
wonders for
Rashford.
him.
Smiling Rashford is what we want to see. And the
Good.
last goal he scored, he didn't smile. Today, he was smiling. So that's what I want to see
Yes,
going
The
forward.
yes.
only
A
reason I
smiling
would give
Rashford is a
Rashford a
dangerous
high,
Rashford. Let's be honest.
the only reason I
Exactly.
would give Rashford, if anybody gives Rashford a high rating, is probably because one of the score line and two the time he scored it.
Correct.
Right? And that's basically it, right? So
Yeah.
But
And
Greg,
so now he's feeding. I said now he's feeding the back of the net as well as feeding the children, which is what we want. So
correct. That's what we want. That is
what we
all
need.
we want.
Greg, I'm giving you the last word. What do you have to say to take us out? How do you feel looking forward?
I mean, this kind of result can change a season because you see the persistence, you see the continuous. I
I
see
know, right, Devin?
you saw Roberts coming. Didn't you? You saw Roberts coming. Anyway, yeah, that almost made me lose my train of thought. Almost, but yeah, like I said, this kind of result can change a season in the sense that it gives them the right kind of momentum going into other games because you put on all that effort, all that work rate, all that energy into trying to break down a stubborn West Ham team that at times were capable of giving people shocks. It shows that this team's starting to adapt to what Ralph is asking of them to continue to give the energy levels for the full 90. And hopefully going forward when we face much more difficult opposition, we don't just out energy them. We also outplay them more tactically and try to and get better at breaking down these teams as we go on. So hopefully this improves and gradually more technical aspects of the game improve with this team. But for now, I'm happy with the win. I'm happy for the 3 points, and I'm happy certain players are getting back that confidence because we need it for other games coming up.
President Chad, it looks like so far what you said before on our Brentford preview is coming true, where That would be the momentum changer.
Well, it's a good thing you brought it up. I mean, let the folks know what I said. Let them know what I said before the Brentford game.
So Chad came on there and he said you could clip this now and this could either turn out real good or real bad. And he basically said that the Brentford game was going to be the game that changes momentum for the good for Manchester United.
I don't know. I was feeling it. You know,
Chad,
I
you lots of numbers.
I wish. You know,
Yeah, I'm not asking you for nothing. For the last time you playing, you better lost $1,000 or kind of crap for the Euros. I ain't trusting you with no money at all.
you know, one of the things with this team under is Ralph is not about emotions. Ralph is not about feelings in the dressing room. Ralph is about systems. And if you show me that you could play the system in training, I am going to put you on. You know, I have heard talk that, you know, the guys who were running the training when Ole was there, right? Which would have been McKenna and Carrick, that they would sometimes give Ole a team sheet and Ole would change the players on the team sheet when it comes to game day. Because as people would say he had his favorites, I wouldn't say that. I would say, you know, Ole felt that he had players that he would put confidence in, right? And sometimes the players that Ole picked were not always the players that McKenna and Carrick picked. At least that's what I would have heard coming off of the training. And now with Ralph is like, if you do what I want you to do in training, you're gonna get a play. And if you do what I want you to do when you play, you're gonna keep playing. And now everybody realizes because my name is Marcus Rashford, MDE, because I'm Captain Harry Maguire, because I am, you know, Euros player of the tournament or team of the tournament, Luke Shaw, you're not guaranteed no starting spot, right? You're not guaranteed no starting spot. You have to show the levels that the manager wants. And that now has stripped away all the emotionalism from it. It has stripped away all the, you know, well, how we feel and the atmosphere in the dressing room, because we know it has stuff going on in the dressing room. We have spoken about it on this program. You're hearing about, but now it doesn't matter. It don't matter if I don't like you. It don't matter if Greenwood and Ronaldo beefing. Or they could beef, but if all they don't go out there and do the manager want, or they win on rock bench. Nobody don't want a rock bench.
You're the vegan on the bench.
Nobody don't want a rock bench. So now everybody going out and
That was a good one.
playing. Yeah, everybody playing. So I really like Ralph's approach, and I'm seeing it taking hold in this team. So I feel very good. I could honestly say I look forward not to the Middlesbrough game because it's an easy team and Donny might actually get sweat and whatever. I just want to continue to see
Free
the
Donny.
development. The development of the team. That's what I want to see. I want to see the continued development of the team. So that's it. You know, I think we look good. And I just like the pragmatism of Ralph Ragnick. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We need a goal, send on all your strikers. Martial and I, you know, had a little disagreement. It was out in the press. It didn't look good. I ain't interested in that. I interested in winning, right? Send Martial out and let's see what can happen. You know, so I really like this pragmatic approach of this new coach, and I just hope long, and I really think that this team is going to turn it around. I think by the time we meet City in March, it is not going to be anything like the Manchester United that City played before. I really think that way. And then, I mean, today was a good day. We talk about West Indies, we talk about other stuff, and well, Manchester City dropped some points today. Not that we in a tight race, but it's always good to see Manchester City drop points. You know what I mean? So let's hope Spurs could drop some points tomorrow, please God, as well, because if Spurs win tomorrow, they will go above us by 1 point.
And Chelsea drop points too.
I want them to draw because Spurs
Yeah,
played
a
Chelsea.
draw works best for the both of us.
Just drop points, exactly.
Yeah, I have Harry Kane on my fantasy team, and I don't really have anybody from Chelsea, so I want a high scoring draw like a 3-all.
You have to be a man if you have a Lukaku.
Yeah,
Lukaku.
agree. Exactly.
Lukaku. Oh,
Everybody watching like who?
when it comes to fantasy, I like Lukaku, yes, on a personal level, as a former United player. When it comes to fantasy,
No.
Lukaku is saying nothing with
Nah.
fantasy team right
Nah.
now.
That
You
man,
even saying anything for Chelsea right now?
that man has turned to Timberland boots in training, boy. No,
Luke Cage.
Training on the pitch.
Who say Luke Cage?
Me, Luke Cage.
Yeah, it's like, wow, when are you going to develop a first touch, bro? At
Oh,
what stage
man.
of your career are you going to be able to do that?
I mean, how old is he now? 28?
Might be
About that,
29. I think he's 29.
Dude, if you can't develop a first touch now, then mm-mm.
I just want to say this before we shut it down. Do you all are you all aware of the stories of Eric Cantona after training, going with the ball at the cliff, going to the back of the wall and practicing on his
yeah.
first touch?
I heard
Yes.
about those.
This is Eric Cantona that was immaculate with the ball at his feet, practicing his first touch.
That's professional
Manchester
player,
United.
man.
That
On his
that's
own.
also
It
that's
wasn't
also
the
a thing
coach
that
telling him to do it. He did it on his own. Just because he wants to improve himself. I
Mhm.
mean, come on, Lukaku, you could do better than that. We was
the
gonna say Devin.
the Man City players now they speak about that very true. You line up on a wall and you shoot at the wall, so it works on your touch. It works on you figure out how much weight to put behind a pass, behind a
Mhm.
shot. So it's all it works on your ball control, your distribution, and they all swear by it. So if you see something that's working, why not try to implement that into your game as well? If you truly want to be at the top, or you're just complacent with where you are and collecting that paycheck.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure, man. For sure, for sure. We need all and that's one thing that I hope players the main thing that I think Ronaldo needs to bring to this group is what Ibrahimovic brought, which was leadership. When
Mm-hmm.
Ibra came to Manchester United, all of that dancing when after a loss, all of that shit cut out. All of that, youthful silliness, silly memes and silly posts, all of that cut out because he brought leadership. The Cristiano Ronaldo has to realize we don't need you, Cristiano Ronaldo, number one goal scorer. We don't need Cristiano Ronaldo to come to Manchester United and score 20 goals. If he could give us 10 more goals in Champions League, that'll be great. But in the league, we don't need 20 goals from Cristiano Ronaldo. We have goal scorers on this team.
Yep.
What we need
Facts.
is that leadership and that mentality of here where you can always get better. And if Cristiano Ronaldo focuses a little more on building that camaraderie with the players instead of picking fights with them, I think this team could just shock all of us and do something. Whether it's a FA Cup, whether it's reach a final in the Champions, something. It is possible because we know we have the players to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, guys, as I always say, Red Devils don't die, we multiply. It was a great program. Thanks to Caveman coming through. Big Phil out there in Canada trying us, you know. I know he does look forward to the programs, because that has helped him stay warm.
true, boy. That is my therapy, boy. It is very true, boy. It's funny because when I saw Marcus Rashford score today in the 93rd minute, I was gonna run outside, but then when I opened the door, I kind of had to come back inside.
Like, hold on, big fella.
No.
Like, sit down, big fella.
You're
Sit down,
excited.
big fella.
You're excited, but you're not that excited. Okay, so stay your ass inside and
Run
celebrate. where
around
you
the
belong,
couch,
okay?
like all of
Yeah,
us. Run around the couch.
Correct.
Yeah, boy. That finish today, that's why we watch football.
Yep.
That is why
Correct.
we watch football to get that blood pumping. I mean, sometimes it just make us cry, but today it would have been tears of joy. So
Mhm.
yeah, glory, Man United, and keep staying tuned to the United Hour. Good night, everybody.
Hey,
All
if
right.
you appreciate what we're doing here at the United Hour, please like, please subscribe, and let's grow this community.